guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to do a very highly requested video, and it is a SFX starter kit, what you would need to start up with SFX. It's not like a professional starter kit, so I'm not doing like this is what you would need in your SFX makeup kit if you're doing jobs or like freelancing or doing makeup on other people. This is just like for Halloween, or if you're just playing around and having fun with SFX makeup like me. I am not a professional, so I started with SFX makeup just for fun. I just didn't have like a costume to wear on Halloween, so I just ordered a bunch of SFX makeup and I tried it out and I really loved it. So I've just been playing around with SFX makeup since then, and I really like it. So, and a lot of you have been asking what kind of products you would need to start up with SFX makeup, like for Halloween and stuff like that. So I'm just gonna show you like the basic stuff that you would need to create basically any sort of look you want, except like prosthetics and stuff like that, since I don't know how to do that. So yeah, this is products that I use for my SFX looks, and I feel like they work really well. And yeah, I'm just gonna show you the basic stuff that you would need if you're interested in starting with SFX makeup. So the first thing that is the most important, in my opinion, is liquid latex. The liquid latex that I use is the Ben Nye liquid latex, and I love it. This is the first liquid latex that I tried, and I have kept using it since then. I started out like almost 2 years ago, and I still use the same liquid latex because I think this is the best. It's not too thick, it's not too thin, but it does smell not good. I can't open it. Okay, whatever. Can't open it right now, but it doesn't smell very well. It kind of like burns your eyes a little bit if you have it a little bit near your eyes, if that makes sense. So you will start crying a little bit if you're sensitive to it like me. But yeah, you just make sure that you don't have a latex allergy if you use liquid latex. Try out like on your arm a little bit first to see if you're allergic before you start applying it to your face. But liquid latex is like the most important thing that you will need if you're interested in starting up with SFX makeup. And as I said, this is like basically the first thing that I bought when I started SFX, and I still use the same liquid latex, and it's amazing. They come in different sizes. This is the little one. These two are the same, by the way. This is just the little one, and this is the big bottle. If you're just interested in doing makeup for Halloween, if you're doing like a look or two, then this little bottle is enough. It doesn't cost a lot. This one is 2 fluid ounces or 59 milliliters, which is enough if you're doing just for Halloween. But if you're interested in doing like more SFX looks throughout the year and stuff like that, then you should go for the big bottle. Okay, so this one is 8 fluid ounces and 236 milliliters. So this will actually last you for a while, and yeah, so they come in different sizes, and I think they actually do have a larger bottle too than this one. But I've never had it, and I don't feel like I need it because this lasts me forever. So the next thing that is also pretty essential and can be used as a base for like wounds and scars is modeling wax. And I have 3 different kinds of modeling wax, but I feel like they all do the same thing, and they all work the same and feel the same and everything. They're just basically the same. And I also know you can make your own modeling wax. I have not tried that, but I think you can use like petroleum jelly and like flour to make modeling wax, but I haven't tried it, so don't quote me on that. But yeah, I have the Miron one, and I have the Ben Nye one, and I have the Graftobian one. And actually I have used the Graftobian one more than the rest. I don't know why, but they all do the same thing. This one is actually pretty new. I haven't used it a lot, but as I said, all three of them just do basically the same thing and feel the same way, and yeah. But they are a little bit harder to work with than liquid latex because they are kind of sticky and they will stick to your fingers. So if you use modeling wax, make sure that you use an oil on your fingers first so they won't stick to your fingers and stuff like that. And what you do with this, you just like peel it up, take it out of the box, and you roll it in with your fingers, with oil on your fingers, and you apply it to the skin and just smooth it out with your skin. And if you're making like a wound or something, you just like take like something sharp and just cut through it, and it will look like a wound. So it's pretty easy once you have it on your skin, but before that it's kind of sticky, and yeah, it's kind of hard to work with. But I feel like modeling wax is like, if you're doing scars or wounds like on the face, I think they look a lot more real if you use modeling wax than if you would use liquid latex, because the edges are more smooth, and I think it works a lot better like on smaller wounds than, yeah. But if you do like huge wounds, then liquid latex is the thing. But small ones, modeling wax is the best, I think. But as I said, it's a little bit harder to work with. So the next thing that you will need is blood, and preferably different types of blood, because different wounds and scars need different types of blood. But the first one that I will be talking about is the Ben Nye stage blood. This is more like runny blood. It's not like a thick one. And this is the one that I use to, like, if I have blood like running down my face, or I just dip it around a wound or something. This is the one that I use. This is also the first blood that I bought ever, and I really like it. I still love it. It's my favorite one. It does have a zesty mint flavor, as it says on the bottle, and it's safe to get in your mouth because it just has a mint flavor. Wait a second, is it safe to have it in your mouth? It doesn't say anything about that, but oh yeah. Stage blood has a zesty mint flavor and is safe for use in the mouth. So it's not a problem if you get it inside your mouth, because it's just a mint flavor like a syrup. So it's perfectly safe if you get it in your mouth. But yeah, this is my all-time favorite blood. I really like it, and it has like a darker color. It's more like a burgundy, and I really like it. I have tried different types of blood that has more like a light red color, and I really don't like those. I feel like they kind of look faker, if that makes sense. And I feel like this one just, I don't know, just looks more realistic. And I really like it, and it's not as expensive either. I will link all the products down below. And yeah, and you probably can tell that I have a lot of Ben Nye products in here, but it's because, I don't know, I just started off with that brand. When I started like buying SFX product, I just bought a bunch of Ben Nye products, and I have been loving that brand ever since, so I just keep using it. And my other favorite blood is the Ben Nye Fresh Scab. And you have probably seen me use this blood in my videos, and you probably know how much I love it. It's just like a really, really thick blood. It's like a gel, but not thicker than, it's thicker than gel, but you can use it inside wounds. Yeah, it just kind of looks like scab, and I really like it. And sometimes I actually don't even use like colors inside wounds. I just use this because it covers up everything, and I really love it. So yeah, this is also a must, I think. These two actually are the ones that you would need the most. That's what I have been experiencing. These two are the ones that I use the most. But I also have some blood gel, which is, it's kind of like a mix between these two. It's not as thick as this one, but it's not as thin as this one. So I don't know. It's just about preferences, what kind of blood you will like in your wound and stuff like that. So this one is from Wuchi. I will have a link down below. It's coagulated blood, so it's a lot thicker. And then I also have a squirt blood, which is a lot thinner than regular stage blood. So it's more like a squirt blood. It actually just says it, the name says it all. Then I have some thick blood, which is also, it's basically the same thing as the scab blood. It's just, I don't know, a little bit smoother. And then I have some blood paste, which is basically the same thing as the thick blood from Ben Nye. This one is, the blood paste is from Graftobian, and the thick blood is from Ben Nye. These two I feel like are the same thing, actually. Are they? Yeah, basically, I think they are actually the same thing. So the next thing that is pretty important is colors, and I use cream colors because I think they're easier to work with than powders and, I don't know, other types of colors. And it's also what I have around. So I have these two palettes. This one is the Ultimate Effects palette from Ben Nye, and this one is the Makeup Forever, what is it called? Flash Color palette. This is actually the one that I've been having around for a while, so this is the one that I've been using mostly. I really like the consistency of these. They glide on really easily, and they're really pigmented. And then I also have the Ultimate Effects palette from Ben Nye, which is also really good, and they're all cream colors as well. This one has a lot more colors than the Makeup Forever Flash palette, but this one is a lot lighter and a lot, well, is it lighter? But yeah, it's really light, and it's a lot smaller than this one, but this one has, as you can see, a lot more colors. So these palettes are good to have around if you're doing different types of look throughout the year and stuff like that. But if you're only doing looks for Halloween, I recommend just getting like a wheel like this. This one is from Ben Nye and it's called the FX Wheel Bruise and Abrasions, and I really like it. This is actually the first colors that I got when I first started out, and I still have, there's still a lot of product left. So it does last me forever, and these are the colors that you would mostly want in an SFX look. So you have the yellow for like around bruises and stuff like that. You have like a grayish color, and you have like a burgundy brownish red, and then you have a red one. So these are basically the colors that you need if you're doing wounds and bruises and stuff like that. So I would recommend just getting this if you're just doing looks for Halloween and stuff like that, because you wouldn't actually need like pinks and blues and stuff like that. So this is actually really good. So the other thing that is pretty important is foundation to cover up the liquid latex so it matches your skin. And the one foundation that I use the most is the NYX Professional Makeup Total Control Drop Foundation. And I don't know, I just feel like this works really well with the liquid latex, and it applies really fast, and you only need like 2 drops to cover like an entire mouth area. And I don't know, it's really easy to match the liquid latex to the skin with this foundation. Like other foundations that I've used, I feel like it's really hard to match it because the color on the skin and the liquid latex is completely different, even though you use the same foundation for it. So this foundation I feel like is really well, it works really well for that purpose. It matches really easily, and I don't know, it works well with liquid latex, I think. So I really like this one. And then you can also use like a palette like this, like a contour palette or like a concealer palette, to match the liquid latex, because liquid latex has like a different, the colors will look different on liquid latex than it does on your actual skin. So you would need like different colors, different skin type colors to make it match your skin. So I feel like a palette like this is very good to have around when you're trying to match your latex to your skin. Next thing that you would need is a setting powder, and also a powder that is more reddish, like a blush. So the setting powder is really important because you want to set your liquid latex before you start applying other products, because the liquid latex is going to be a little bit sticky. So you want setting powder to like set it down so it's not as sticky. So the other products that you're going to apply are going to glide on easily and look a lot better. So then after I have set the liquid latex, I like to apply a little bit of like a reddish kind of blush like this one. This one is from Bronx Colors. It's the Intense Blusher, and I really like this color for around wounds and stuff like that, so it looks a little bit bruised. And I don't know, I just feel like this is the perfect shade for that. But I also like to use like more burgundy eyeshadows and stuff like that sometimes too. So you can actually just try around with like blushes that you have or eyeshadows that you have, like for around, like on the edges of wounds and stuff like that, so it looks bruised. And yeah, so these are very important, setting powder and like a little blush or eyeshadow to bruise up the wounds a little bit. So the other thing that is pretty nice to have in your SFX starter kit is spirit gum, and also spirit gum remover. The spirit gum is like an adhesive, so you can glue on like prosthetics to your face or other things. Maybe like you want to glue on like a piece of fabric, I don't know, you can use spirit gum for that. You can actually also use liquid latex to apply things to your skin, like glue them on. But this one holds up really well, and it holds a lot better than liquid latex would. But yeah, I really like spirit gum, but it's actually pretty hard to remove, so you would need a remover to remove it with. So the spirit gum that I have is from Ben Nye, and the remover is from Miron. I will have them linked down below. But these two are not a must. I didn't have these products when I first started. I just used liquid latex to glue stuff on me. It sounds so funny. But yeah, I didn't have these two, and I managed pretty good without them. But what I noticed is you would actually need spirit gum if you're working with modeling wax, because modeling wax does not stay on your skin very well. So you would need an adhesive under the modeling wax before you apply it. So then spirit gum is the only answer for me, especially. But yeah, and the spirit gum remover is what takes it all off. You can actually use this for liquid latex as well, and other like stuff that's hard to remove from your skin. So yeah, these are the makeup products that you would need in your kit. So yeah, these are the makeup products that you need if you're starting out with SFX. And so yeah, these are the products that you need if you're starting out with SFX, or you just doing Halloween looks regularly and stuff like that. And yeah, but now I'm gonna go ahead and show you what kind of tools and other stuff that is fun to have around when you're doing SFX. So the first thing that is the most important is sponges, and preferably a lot of them, because you go through these like so fast. I use one sponge like every time I do makeup where I use liquid latex, because these are the sponges that I use to apply liquid latex. These are really nice to apply liquid latex, and you have probably seen me use these hundreds of times in my SFX videos, and I really love them. They're really cheap. You can get them at H&M, and yeah, they're disposable, so you use them once and you just throw them out and you use another one, because they're really cheap and they're really nice to have. So the other thing that is also very important is tissues, especially if you're using liquid latex, because you want the liquid latex to get a little bit thicker, and then I like to use the tissues for that. You can also use toilet paper, but toilet paper tends to have like a pattern to them. So when you apply a liquid latex on top of toilet paper, it shows up. The pattern really like stands out. But tissues, I feel like they don't have like a pattern to them, and yeah, they're just plain. So it looks smooth when you apply liquid latex on top of them, and you can build it up. And yeah, so I like to like apply several layers of this when I do liquid latex. So apply like liquid latex, tissue, liquid latex, tissue. So it gets the thickness that I want, and it looks more like skin. Because if you would just use like a thin layer of liquid latex for a wound, it will just look way too thin, and it's not going to look realistic, because skin is not thin. It's thick as skin. Oh, I'm sorry, that was weird. And of course you can get tissues at any grocery store, or yeah, it's just like snot paper, the paper that you use for like when you have a cold. So yeah, that kind of paper. So the other thing that I also like to have around is this little plate. I totally forgot what it's called, but it's like what you use if you're painting, like to have paint inside. And you can get these at any store that sells art supplies, because these are the things that you would use if you're painting. But I really like this for like putting in like blood or liquid latex or other colors if they're liquidy, because then I don't make a mess, and this is really easy to clean out because it's plastic. And yeah, this little bigger storage can be used to mix stuff in, like pigments with mixing liquids. And yeah, and you can also use oil, put oil inside if you're using like modeling wax to like dip your fingers in. It's just a really nice plate to have. It bugs me really a lot that I can't remember what the name is of this little plate, but it's like a painter's thingy. But yeah, it's really nice to have around, because then you don't make a mess and you have everything in this little plate. Then another thing that has helped me a lot is these sponges. They're stipple sponges, and I have them in two different types. I have the one with like bigger stipples, so you make bigger like I don't know, stipples. They're like, I don't know, they're not as dense as the other ones, and these ones are a lot denser, and the stipples are a lot like more dense. I actually really like to use these around wounds, because then it looks like blood splatters a little bit, and these one make bigger splatters, and these one make smaller platters. Splatters, not platters. But yeah, I really like them. I did not have these when I first started out, and I had no idea that you could use these kind of sponges. I actually found one of like a sponge like this, because I had an aquarium, and inside like the pumps there's sponges like this, and I found them, and I didn't use like the pump anymore, so I'm like, wait a second, I can use this sponge for like makeup. So I tried it out, and it worked really well. But then like a while after, I was scrolling through like a makeup site, like where you buy makeup, and I saw these sponges, and I'm like, you can buy these for makeup? So I was like so happy, so I bought a bunch of them. So now I have both the smaller stipple and the bigger stipple, and I feel like you actually need both because sometimes you want bigger splatters and sometimes you need smaller splatters. So I really like them. They're really nice to have and they're really cheap too. But if you do have an aquarium with a pump that you don't use anymore, they have sponges like this inside of them. So there's a tip for you. Then of course you also need brushes, but you cannot use brushes that you use for your normal makeup. So you need brushes that are specially for just SFX, because if you get liquid latex on your brushes, it will completely ruin them, because liquid latex just ruins brushes and clothes if you get it on your clothes. I have ruined a pair of pants, not just a pair, several pairs of pants, because liquid latex has dripped down on my pants and it just completely ruins them. So the same thing happens for brushes. Do not use brushes that you love. Use cheaper brushes for liquid latex if you're like applying color to liquid latex, because if the liquid latex is not completely dry, it will ruin the brush. So use cheap brushes for SFX. That's my tip. Just don't use expensive good brushes that you love, because you will be heartbroken if you ruin them. I have been, so I have learned I do not use expensive brushes for SFX, because that is mistake number one. You will ruin them. So yeah, I just use some of brushes I have got from eBay. Some brushes are old brushes that I don't use anymore or don't like anymore. So yeah, you can just find what brushes you don't like and what brushes you like for SFX and use those. You would need some powder brushes. I have a few in different sizes. I have a bigger brush for like setting the liquid latex with powder. Then I have one to, I don't know, just do other things. I don't know, if you're applying a little bit of color, like another colored powder or something, you need a smaller powder brush. And then like for creams, I like to use these synthetic brushes in different sizes, and you also need like some smaller ones for detailing and stuff like that. And yeah, then some smaller powder brushes or like eyeshadow brushes are also nice to have to apply like a little bit of eyeshadow or the blush that I was telling you about on the edges and stuff like that. So just have like different types of sizes of brushes in your kit, just not expensive ones. And also like a foundation brush is also very nice to have, because then you can apply the foundation with the brush. And yeah, I have to say it again, don't use the expensive brushes. Then another thing that is really nice to have is cotton wool, and to just make the liquid latex thicker, or have it around the edges of stuff that you apply to your skin, just to get like, make textures and make it thicker and yeah, get the thickness that you want. But it is a lot harder to work with than tissues, for instance, because cotton wool tends to move around a lot when you start applying liquid latex to it. So you would need to work in smaller patches to make it stick and not move around too much and stuff like that. But I really like it. It makes it a lot thicker than it does with the tissues, but it's a lot easier to use tissues because they don't move around as much. But it really definitely does look better when you use a cotton wool, I think. And also cotton wool you get everywhere, at the grocery store, at whatever store, and it's really cheap. So the last thing that is pretty good to have around is a wooden spatula. I did have one that was not wooden, it was metal, and I really loved that one, but I lost it. I think I lost it at a masterclass that I had with NYX Professional Makeup, which sucks because I really like that spatula and I have no idea where it is. But I also have a wooden one, which is also really nice. It's like a knife, but it's not sharp, so it's perfect to like cut through modeling wax, so you get like the cut in the wound you want, and you can like lift liquid latex, and just, yeah, it's really nice to have. You can like scrape out scab blood with this, or other thick blood, or scrape out modeling wax from its can. And yeah, it's just really nice to have one of these around. But preferably I would like to have my metal one, but these ones are good as well. They're a lot lighter. But yeah, if you're getting a spatula, please get the metal one, because those are a lot better. So yeah, and also I like to use scissors a lot, but it is not recommended because you can actually cut yourself. So I use scissors to cut open liquid latex and stuff like that. You have probably seen me do it, and I always say be careful if you use scissors. So I did not want to mention it a lot in this video because it's not really safe. And I know that you probably shouldn't use scissors near your face when you're doing like SFX makeup and stuff like that, but I just feel like it's so easy to use scissors to just cut open liquid latex. So what I do if I actually use scissors to cut open liquid latex, I take a brush and at the back, like just the shaft, and I just stick it into liquid latex so I have it like as a barrier with my skin. So I cut like on top of the brush instead of like just, I don't know, it's really hard to explain, but I use this to stick in first and then I cut it open like on top of it so it doesn't, so I don't cut my skin, if that makes sense. It probably doesn't make sense, but it's the best that I can do and I'm really bad at explaining. So that was it for all the makeup products. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you got some tips on what type of products you would need in your kit if you're starting up with SFX makeup. I will have all the products linked down below, whatever I can find. I don't think I'm gonna find this one online because I don't think it's like a very like popular brand, but any blush that is like more reddish, it works fine. And also eyeshadows, whatever, you can just play around and find what kind of shade you like best. But yeah, and also keep in mind that I'm not a professional, so this is, I don't even know if these are the products that are best to use and work best. These are just products that I personally like and feel like work for me. So yeah, and also if you're a professional, this is probably not the products that you would want in your kit, but these are just for hobbies and just to play around with, just to have fun and just for Halloween, because it's not that serious. And I know a lot of you guys are like, some professionals are like, oh, you're not supposed to use this and this is so bad. If you would be in the makeup community, you would be a joke and stuff like that. But seriously, this is not my job. This is just stuff that I like to do. This is just my hobby. I love to do SFX makeup. I just play around with it. So I don't take it that seriously, and I don't do makeup on other people. So just keep that in mind, that I'm not a professional. I'm just a girl that likes makeup. So yeah, I hope you got some tips on what type of products you would want to start out with, just play around with and stuff like that. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and I wish you luck in playing around with SFX makeup and just having fun. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Bye guys.